You are listening to the Coach's Corner Show on KYNT, Yankton's home team. Now, let's get you caught up on Yankton High School athletics with KYNT Sports Director and the voice of the Bucks and Gazelles, Bryce Ladwig.
And good morning, the Coach's Corner here at 1019 Broadway Avenue. This is Bryce Ladwig with you here this morning. Another edition of the Coach's Corner Show, catching up with Yankton High School athletics all throughout the next couple of hours. And we start off with football with the coaches, but first, as we always do, we will catch up with Yankton High School Activities Director Ryan Moores and get the overall view of things, the large picture, as I like to say, for Yankton High School athletics. That is all around the corner. Thank you for joining us on KYNT 102.1 FM, AM 1450, the free mobile app, or KYNT1450.com. And don't forget KYNTV, YouTube, Facebook, your Roku, and Apple TV devices. Plenty of, and of course, also KYNT1450.com. So you can't miss us. Thank you for joining us this morning here at 1019 Broadway Avenue, the Coach's Corner Show. We immediately go to a very quick break. We'll come back with Ryan Moores, Yankton High School Activities Director, after this.
When I'm searching for adventure, I find it on the range. Archery challenges me to be curious, see opportunity, and welcome big challenges. It teaches me to focus and never quit until the last arrow hits. Archery allows me to show my spirit at Mount Marty University. How do you show your adventurous side? Schedule your campus visit to Mount Marty University at showyourspiritmmu.com.
FNBO is the great big small bank, and for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations, and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com, member FDIC.
All right, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. This is Bryce Ladwig being joined by Yankton High School Activities Director Ryan Moores. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bryce. Good to be here.
All right, so now that we got out of the heat last night, you ready for another scorcher today up near 100? I think, is it going to get by 100?
Maybe today and tomorrow. 100 degrees, heat advisory, so it's going to be tough out there. The Lancers will have a hot one tonight.
I guess on one hand you could say good thing there's turf. It's not going to catch fire like grass would, but it's going to be hot. That turf really does retain a lot of heat, doesn't it?
It does. It gets a little bit warmer, and obviously we couldn't do everything we do out there without the turf. So I mean, it's got its pros and cons for sure. But on certain nights when the sun goes down, it increases. It gets better in a hurry. But during the middle of the day, it's pretty warm out there. Which obviously, we're supposed to have that JV game on Monday against T at 4:15 in the afternoon. We've bumped it back to 7 because it's still going to be rather warm on Monday, very similar to last night.
Well, when we talked last week, you said that this is one of the worst weeks for rescheduling things as the activities director. But this week you had some more. I mean, not as bad as that first week, I would say, from my vantage point, but still a lot of rescheduling, a lot of shuffling, right? Yeah,
we changed some times on some things. Yesterday, of course, the tennis girls started a couple hours earlier up in Mitchell to beat the afternoon heat. Cross country last night started a little bit later in Sioux Falls again to beat the heat. There's not much you can do about a 7 o'clock football game when you're bringing spearfish all the way across the state. So the first quarter was a little bit warm, but when the sun went down, it was tolerable. So, you can't control Mother Nature. Obviously, you just have to roll with her punches and see what happens. But hopefully, we're all looking forward to some nice fall temperatures here sometime soon. But looking at the extended forecast, it might stay warm for a while yet.
How'd last night go, the overall picture? I like to ask just because big crowd at Crane, a blackout for especially the student section. Seemed like they were having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a fun night last night. I'd say we had a little less students than we had the first night. You have a holiday weekend with Labor Day, so you have some people getting out of town. The adult section was pretty nice, but I think it was a little less than last week also. Kind of gauge that by looking at the number of programs we have left in the boxes. The Mitchell game, we had substantially less programs left than we had last night. But you also have to realize Mitchell's an hour and a half away, and Spearfish is rolling all the way across the state too. So of course they most likely don't bring quite as many people across because pretty much parents at that point. But all in all, Bryce, everything went well last night.
Still one of the best crowds in 11-man football in South Dakota. I still poke my head out of the press box, look around. I don't count, obviously, like Scott Kuster would have, but I do say, oh, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, Yankton supports all of our activities so well, so it's just great to see so many people in the stands supporting our kids and having a good time out there at Crane Youngworth Field.
Let's see how good your mind is. What's up coming up this week for Yankton?
This week is crazy. So, of course, Monday's a holiday, no school. So, but like we mentioned, we're moving that JV game back a little bit later in the day. Things get really busy. So on Tuesday, we've got varsity soccer out at Crane and varsity volleyball back in the gym. Just talk about some of the home events. Of course, Wednesday's a school day. Thursday, the Yankton Cheer and Dance invites in the gym, and the soccer teams are out at Crane Youngworth Field. So we got double going on that day. And then Friday, we've got a unique situation. We typically don't have a home volleyball game on a Friday night, but that game was originally slated in on the calendar to be on a Thursday. Well, you can't have the home volleyball when you have home cheer and dance, so we backed that up the next day to Friday. Bucks will head up to Watertown, and our boys golf team has their invitational on Friday also. So this week is jam-packed with a bunch of activities here at home.
Yeah, if you want to go out and support Yankton High School Athletics, which we always encourage you to do so, there's plenty of things to choose from, or all. There's plenty of things on the menu. The only dance and cheer home competition of the season, right?
Yeah, typically everybody gets one home meet. You host your own invite, and
whoever has ESD, maybe you get two. Yeah.
Once every 9 years, you get that second meet at home, and obviously somebody has to host a state event also. So, yeah, once a year you get to see the girls perform. So I would strongly encourage you to get out and watch our cheer and dance girls at the gym on Thursday night. It starts at 5:00.
And we'll be talking to those coaches here this morning as well on the Coaches Corner. Ryan, do you have anything else you want to add? I guess we'll just keep moving along. Another edition of the Coaches Corner. Everyone's trying to get home before the sun officially just beats down on everyone.
Stay cool today, and if you can get out there and support the Lancers tonight, go ahead and do that. It'll be warm, but again, the sun will go down, and this evening will be more tolerable than it will be this afternoon.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
That was Ryan Moore, Yankton High School Activities Director. Maybe I should turn my mic on. We'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coaches Corner.
Hello, here's to welcoming moments, big and small, embracing the unexpected, savoring life. At Avera, our nationally recognized health system will be right here with you, ready for anything. We listen to your goals and help you achieve them with care and coverage. We'll move you forward through sickness and health and every milestone in between. Avera, moving health forward. Learn more at avera.org/forward.
Truxedo is proud to have been part of the Yankton community since its start in 2000.
One of the things I love most is that they believe in promoting from within. I've been given many opportunities to advance.
Truxedo has an extensive variety of benefits available to their employees.
The work environment at Truxedo is extremely positive.
We are looking for you to join our production team. Visit www.truxedo.com/careers to apply.
Olson Pest Technicians is a family-owned business since 1966, and with over 50 years of pest management, they understand your issues, and their well-trained team will help you solve your pest problems. Issues with cockroaches, ants, bedbugs, bats, termites, spiders, rats, mice, or other creepy crawling pests? Give your home a fresh start and use the proven method of fumigation to take care of your pest problem. Olson's Pest Technicians will thoroughly get rid of pests so you can rest easy again. Call Olson Pest today, 800-KILL-BUG. That's 1-800-KILBUGS.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Call State Farm agent Rhonda Westland at 665-4411.
All right, let's start talking Yankton Bucks football. 42-27 victory last night at Crane Youngworth Field over the visiting Spearfish Spartans, being joined Coach Brady Muth and Coach Justin Olson. And coaches, what a victory last night for the Bucks. And What I did there, by the way, is click the wrong button on my board. So sorry, everyone. It was just flickering everywhere. All right, coaches, obviously opening thoughts on a big victory for the Yankton Bucks last night. I was talking to you, Coach Muth, before we were eating some pizza, and I mentioned you, and I think you kind of agreed. Sometimes it doesn't matter how you get the car across the finish line. The paint might be chipped a little bit. A victory is a victory.
Yeah, I mean, that's, one of the things. Last night, you go to sleep, you're not real happy with your performance and just a lot of things to clean up. And those things are still there. Still a lot of things that we need to get better at, and we'll talk about those here in a couple minutes. But the big thing is, my takeaway from that is how our team responded to adversity. And whether it's, our own fault, putting us in a bad situation with penalties, or, unfortunate situations with turnovers, because those things happen, or injuries, things that you don't have control over. They definitely faced some real adversity last night, and there was a bit of a scramble, and they came out on the other side of it with a victory. That, making sure we can get a notch in the right direction with, our win-loss total is important. But the big lesson that we learned last night was that we've got to do a little bit better when things start to get going sideways a little bit. When we get punched in the mouth, we've got to respond. And we did. We responded, but it's just how we responded, with the fashion we responded. And we've got to do a better job of being a little bit more mentally tough when things start to go awry, because that's what happens in a football game.
Yeah, Coach Brady Hale joined us in the post game and mentioned, that second quarter, just specifically, it wasn't Bucks football, but that you had a good talk with the team at half. The coaches did, and they really did come out firing in the third.
From a coaching point of view in the game, it's an interesting game, just in and of itself, just because at halftime, the one thing I think our staff does an amazing job with is halftime adjustments. And we went in at halftime and definitely didn't feel like we were doing what we needed to do to win the football game. I think the score reflected that, and the rest, come out in the third quarter reflected that too. There wasn't a whole lot of schematically to change because we were having success with what we were doing. It was just maybe just attitude and how we were doing it. And so, that's part of the whole process of a football season, as well as learning how to get through those situations. And we took a step in the right direction last night. It was a hard-fought game. We needed to have that. And I know I've heard Coach Miner say this a million times. Sometimes you got to win ugly as long as you still win, but winning ugly is okay.
And Coach Olson, defense, another good performance last night. Seth Hamilton is a gamer. He is a good quarterback and tough as nails. And obviously you knew that going in, but I guess the objective probably was Braden Delahoy going into the game, and Yankton did a nice job of basically shutting him down.
Yeah, that was our main objective, and also, believe it or not, our other main objective was to contain Hamilton, which we struggled with a little bit. But yeah, to take Delahoy out of the ball game, I believe he had like one catch for a few yards, a couple catches, but one for 2 yards. So yeah, I think we did a pretty good job of that on in that realm. But it's one of those things where Coach Muth talked about the victory is good. It's one of those games where you when the final buzzer sounds, it's like, man, that was exhausting, because you're dealing with all the emotions of the game. You're trying to handle the kids, trying to make sure that they're doing the things that they need to be doing. Then, like Coach said, battling adversity. And schematically, again, we just try to keep it as simple as possible for the kids. But Tucker Gilmore did a great job, kind of just roughing up Delahoy off the line. And then, our secondary kind of took place. But I'm really impressed with our defensive line. They did a really good job, I thought, despite the fact of our containment, which is some little things, the fundamentals and technique that we went over. To be a teenage kid and they're so excited to get a sack or make a big splash, and then they just forget about what their first focus needs to be. So we have some things to work on, but it's early, and our defense is actually pretty darn young and fairly inexperienced right now. As far as from last year to this year, and so I'm looking forward to some good things and developing this defense to be even better.
Well, you're talking about your defensive line and 3 down linemen most of the game, right? And so you're asking a little bit more of them to try to contain Hamilton, right?
Well, we have a multi-front, so I mean it just shifts from a 3 to an odd front to an even front, which is kind of nice to have those types of players able to do that seamlessly. And we stayed in a forefront for the majority of the game, especially towards the second half going in. We lost a couple players to injury that kind of forced our hand that way as well. But we have the talent there, of course, and we just want to make sure that going forward, it doesn't get any easier. So we want to make sure that we're firing on all cylinders here.
And Leo Morrow is showing some big things right now. He's getting into the backfield and just an athlete and just doing a great job, kind of wreaking havoc on his side.
Yeah, he's getting better and better, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, And so we're excited to get Coach Schwach back on him on Monday, and Coach Huber also works a little bit with the defensive line as well, and so those two guys are going to do a great job of getting him molded into that athlete. He has all the tools. So we're just trying to refine that right now, and hopefully he keeps on progressing. That's for sure.
Coach Muth, the change of pace back situation that you're dealing with right now, or blessed with, I guess you could say, is something that is really special. You have Shaler Platt, I would say Coin Big Diesel, but then also Evan Sirk, just so quick. He reaches a second gear right as he reaches a gap, right, and just a slingshot into the secondary.
And his feet never stop moving. And the other thing too, with Evan, Shaler obviously is physically bigger than Evan, but Evan is just as powerful as, I know football is physics, but, Evan, with where his center of gravity is at, when he really drops his hips and he makes a cut, he's not going to be an easy tackle. And we really like Evan. I think, last night we see that kind of stuff all the time in practice and his explosiveness. But, when you see it on a game Friday, it's exciting. He had a couple big runs for us. He really made some really big plays in special teams as well, where, he has a direct impact on the game. And so excited for Evan. It was a lot of fun to watch him have some success last night.
I guess this is for both of you coaches. I'll probably start defense, then go over to the offense. But just the way you drew it up, right? A defensive interception, Derek Beal at the line, turns into a Yankton Bucks touchdown. Almost, I think it was the next play, right? It was bang, bang.
Yeah, that's,
just how you drew it up.
That's one of our play calls. But no, that worked out. And, Riker Frang actually kind of created that play, obviously. And I'll just share this just because we had a laugh on it, Riker and I on the sideline, that he was messing this play up all week, and he just wouldn't go, and all of a sudden, it got called, and he wrapped around, and he made the play, and the ball just gravitated right to Derek, and then to watch him rumbling, stumbling, bumbling all the way as far as he could get was pretty exciting for him. So that worked out nice.
And then just a bomb from Lucas Kamshop to Austin Goebel in the back corner of the end zone. I don't know if I like the pass more or the catch and stride more.
Yeah, and those two have been doing that for a long time with each other. Going way back, but two guys with a certain skill set that fit that play call real well. We got the coverage that we were expecting there, and so when that happens, that's the fun part of coaching football. When you anticipate a certain coverage and you get it, you get your play call right, and kids do what they're supposed to do and execute. That's the fun part, and it was exciting. That's quick change. You want to have a quick strike offense, and I thought Coach Huber dialed up a great play for that situation.
And coaches, we are going to move on with the show, so I want closing thoughts from you guys on this big Bucks victory, 2-0 on the season.
Well, there's still work to be done. We got to figure some things out. Hopefully we get some guys back healthy. But hey, like I said, it doesn't get any easier. We're looking at a Watertown team here that is going to run the football. So we just got to be geared up for that. But a win's a win right now. We'll go over some things here in a little bit in film and then get back to work.
Awesome. Coach Muth?
I think there's more than enough reasons to be motivated to get to work this week. We've got a tough Watertown team in front of us. But also the big takeaway last night was we got a victory, and that's important. But the bigger thing is, what lessons did we learn? I thought we learned some really important lessons after the game last night, especially, talking about it at half and then fourth quarter, where we're at and what we need to do to get better as a team. if we can respond and we can fix the things between our ears this next week, this team's going to be real special. And we got the right guys to do it. We got the right guys in the right room. And, I mean, I'm curious to see how they're going to respond, but I think everybody on our coaching staff knows the way they're going to respond when we get into meetings here in about 5 minutes.
Looking forward to calling that game. Coach Muth, Coach Olson, thanks for joining us here on the Coach's Corner. Congratulations. Go Bucks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bryce.
And we'll come back and talk Yankton Bucks football still here on the Coach's Corner.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. CoreTrust helps your business thrive with checking, online bill pay, small business loans, credit card processing, local approval and support for government grants and loans, investments to grow your hard-earned assets, and insurance to protect them. All from CoreTrust, the community bank that's right down the street and everywhere you want us to be. Visit CoreTrustBank.com today.
Member FDIC.
Do you have dry, sore, or irritated eyes? If so, you may have dry eye. At Vision Care Associates, we offer a simple, fast, and non-surgical procedure to treat black glands in your eyelids that can help your eyes to feel comfortable again. Schedule an appointment with Dr. Fieser to find out about dry eye treatment with our newest technology.
Vision Care Associates, where the health of your eyes comes first.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Don't gamble. Insure with MT&RC Smith Insurance in Yankton, your independent agent for home, business, auto, life, and bonds. MTRCSmithInsurance.com.
At Triple Time Rudy's, you get convenient access to quality fuel products. Plus, you'll also find quality South Dakota products like Dimmock cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. With a local-friendly feel and unique product offering, Triple Time Rudy's is your local convenience store that supports schools and events and provides fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers. For all of your daily fill-ups and convenience needs, pull into Triple Time Rudy's at 17th and Broadway.
Hey, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Bryce Ladwig here. Let's continuing talking Yankton Bucks football. 42-27 victory last night over the Spearfish Spartans, joined by Coach Terry Huber and Coach Brady Hale. Coaches, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so big victory for the Bucks. Let's start talking just right out of the gate offense, and I'll just start with Lucas Gamshoff. And he had some interceptions. One was just taking a chance right near the end of the half. That's going to happen. But other than the two picks, some dimes thrown from Lucas Gamshoff. And I was just talking to Coach Muth about the throw to Austin Goebel in the back of the end zone. And I don't know whether I was more impressed by the throw or the catch. Both just worked really well together.
Yeah, it was a great play all around. I couldn't have pictured a better way to start our offensive night. And just speaking about those interceptions, that's going to happen in offense, and we want Lucas to be aggressive and not worry about making mistakes and just trusting that we got skill guys that'll make plays. And I mean, that's really what he does, and he makes a lot of plays happen with his arm, and our guys just go out and ball out and make great catches for him. So it was fun to watch.
Whoever wants to take this one's kind of a variety of both. It involves the quarterback, the offensive line, and the offense as a general. But Lucas Gamshoff seems like he's facing pressure just like any quarterback would, but he has had some very clean pockets, especially last night.
Yeah, offensive line-wise, we talk about communication every day and multiple times a day, and they've been doing a good job working with each other, understanding. We talked about this last week. You got to gel as an offensive line, right? It's 5 guys who have to work together, and having 4 new ones in and 1 returner, it takes a little bit of time to get those game reps where they're understanding how fast the game is. And I thought they've been doing a darn good job by not giving up the deep pressure. Like you said, there is a little pressure, but that pressure is within 1.5, 2 yards of the line of scrimmage, and that's completely normal. That's where we want it to be. I think Gamshoff reads very well. He knows when to step into the pocket. He knows when to scramble out. And he's good on his feet. He's very poised whenever you see him outside of the box, which is really fun to see. And then our receivers, anytime there is some kind of pressure coming in the backfield, they're great at scramble drills. They know get to the ball, get to your landmarks, and it's been really fun to watch those guys.
Connor Slaba and Cohen Zarbach get their first touchdown receptions of the season as well. And I should mention, excuse me, Lucas Kamshoff's stats: 194 yards in the air, 14 to 24, 3 touchdown passes. We already opened up with him, but really just settling into that starting quarterback role.
Yeah, absolutely. I was impressed last night. I'll take kind of the 2 receivers. I'll let Hale talk a little more on Kamshoff. Zarbach and Slava last night, they stepped up big for us. I mean, we got guys in and out. We're running a lot of two-way guys right now. They understood that they're coming in and they're fighting for spots. And depth chart might look different next week, just because these guys are stepping up a lot. It's really fun to see. It's also fun to know that you have those guys that are going to step in, and it's not much of a drop at all, if any, from the 1s to the 2s. They are starting caliber players. It's just, you got 5 guys that you can put out there, and it's tough to choose from right now.
Pretty even on the ground, or excuse me, in rushing and passing totals. 262 rushing, 194 in the air. Pretty balanced offense last night. Is that kind of what you're going for?
Yeah, I think especially this year, with Cirk and Platt in the backfield, and then you got Kamshoff who can use his legs too. I think we'll be a little bit more balanced than we were last year. Last year we were probably 65% passing. I think this year Lucas's arm is gonna make guys back up a little bit. You saw all night they were sitting in cover 2, but those corners were sitting deep the entire night. So you got to take what they give you, and they gave us some running lanes last night, and Cirk and Platt took advantage of them.
Yeah, and Coach Hale, you were up in the box last night looking at the grand scheme of things. Is that kind of what you're seeing with Kamshoff, with the 2 teams so far kind of playing back on him?
Yeah, I mean, Lucas is he's an outstanding passer, and we've seen that in practice for, the last few years. And now that he's getting a chance to play, I'm sure teams are, having to adjust on the fly if they're not seeing much film on him. But yeah, he's got an outstanding arm. He's probably got the most talented arm that I've seen in a while. He puts the ball in places that it's just like sometimes we just chuckle. It's like, that should not have happened, but you just threw a dime. So, I mean, it's awesome, and he's easy to coach. He's a great leader, and like you said, he's just off to a great start.
Special teams wise, let's talk coverage, punt coverage, kick coverage. I'm very impressed with those guys, and they are really just getting down the field fast and angry is the most important thing.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job. Like you said, we have a group of 4 or 5 guys that are on just about every single special team, and they're doing a great job just taking ownership over that and saying, like, this is our thing. We're gonna do our best every play and fly down the field and make plays. And I thought last night we were really close to, blocking a punt or returning a kickoff, and just penalties kind of got in the way a few of those things. But just really happy with the way we've progressed just in these first 2 weeks.
Can't remember their punter's name. I think it was like Marcus, but he was rushed quite a few times to his right. He had to do running punts, and I don't think, judging how it went down, I don't think that was completely designed. I think some of it was a emergency pull the lever kind of situation for him.
Yeah, and then speaking of punt return, just to give a shout out to Cohen Zarbach again, he stepped up and it was our punt returner last night, kind of just a last minute thing, and he did a great job returning the ball, and hopefully he can continue to progress as well.
Melgoza with the extra points, still perfect on the season, has done an excellent job stepping into that role, and just really hasn't missed a beat. He's been very impressive so far. He hasn't had to kick a field goal yet, but you ask him to kick the extra points, and he's doing that and getting off some good kicks.
Yeah, he's a kid a lot like Lucas that, we haven't got to see Josue until this year really in the varsity game, but we showed it all the time in practice. He's consistent. He can make extra points. He's comfortable from 45 and in. And then I think Derek Beal might disagree, but the play of the game in my eyes was Josue catching that punt and running to his left and punting it.
Yes.
That's a big play. That's a hard play, rolling to his left for a right-footed punter. But no, both those guys made great plays. But like you said, Josue, he's a senior, and he's going out and balling out every game, and it's fun to watch.
His kickoffs last night, I thought were extremely impressive watching. It's a big deal when our guys can just freely run downfield because he's putting it in the back of the end zone. I was extremely impressed on the offensive side because, we depend on the special teams just as much as anybody does. So for those guys to be able to flip the field, put us in good advantage, that was huge last night. Hats off to Coach Hale and his special teams. I thought they helped out a ton last night.
Yeah, and Coach Hale, closing thoughts, but also mention that play again is what you saw, because I can't not forget about it, but it was on my notes. Just making lemonade out of lemons, quite literally. It could have been a disastrous play for Yankton, having that ball go way deep into the zone, but he made the best of it.
So, less than ideal long snap, which we'll get that corrected, and Carson's been doing good all year, so I'm not worried about it. But went over his head, and he had to run backwards 20 yards and pick up the ball, and then turn around and kind of say, okay, there's some defenders 10 yards from me. And Josue would tell you he's an athlete, so and he is. But he runs to his left, and he's a right-footed punter. So for him to be able to think, okay, I got to punt this ball now and not just run with it, that was awesome. And, I mean, it's a huge play. It's a difference in 50 yards of field position and them having the ball on the 10-yard line. And I think it was an 8-point game at that point, or maybe we had just scored to go up 20 or 16 points there. But, you know, it's a big play in the game, huge.
Absolutely. Coach Huber, closing thoughts on a Bucks victory.
Yeah, you know, I thought, you know, the word last night, resilience. Those guys, there was a lot of things that happened last night that we had to throw some guys in who weren't necessarily comfortable, but they all stepped up and they played the role that they needed to. You know, I think we need to be a little more disciplined next week. Going into that Watertown game, there's some undisciplined plays that we made, but the team in general was extremely resilient. You know, I know I had a conversation with the offense, and I just said, you know, you can feel emotions running, and we need to stop playing emotionally and just play with a calm, even keel. And they buy in. You know, they understand like that we're putting them in the best situation we can, and that it's their team. They're out there and they're gonna make the plays. I thought they were extremely resilient last night, and guys really stepped up.
All right, coaches, thanks for joining us. That was Coach Huber and Coach Hale. Go Bucks, and thanks for joining us, coaches.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner.
Attention homeowners, if you've been on the fence about selling, I'd love the opportunity to sit and visit with you. With low inventory, now would be a good time to call me, Deb Speck at Vision Real Estate. I'll provide you with a free market analysis and a no-pressure approach. Call me at 605-664-5555 to find out if now is the right time to make a move.
Know what happens when you keep your hard-earned assets at First Dakota National Bank? You can rest assured that your accounts are protected to the maximum allowed by the FDIC. And those funds stay local. Businesses and organizations are positively impacted. The whole community benefits. You can invest your resources just about anywhere today. But if you keep them safe, earn a good return, and benefit the local community, why would you invest anywhere else? First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
Being able to enjoy the warm weather is great. Playing sports, fishing, boating, and just lounging outdoors. But with the warm weather also comes skin issues and concerns, like rash, poison ivy, and other allergies and sunburns. At Yankton Rexall, we have a great selection of over-the-counter products that can help provide you some relief. So don't waste a minute of the warm weather suffering.
Celebrating 100 years, your hometown pharmacy since 1923, Yankton Rexall.
Yankton Medical Clinic is pleased to announce the addition of geriatric specialist Dr. Jennifer Philhouse to their team. Dr. Philhouse will help patients as they age and need an expert who understands the aging process. She uses the John A. Hartford Foundation 4M's framework in her practice. What matters? Medication, mentation, and mobility. If you or a loved one have reached the age where you need expert care, schedule your appointment with her today. Dr. Jennifer Philhouse. Just one more way Yankton Medical Clinic provides so much care, so close to home.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Bryce Ladwig here. Let's continue talking Yankton Bucks football. Coach Dan Schwach joins us. Coach, good morning.
Morning.
Hey, great victory for Yankton last night, and we keep talking to all the coaches. And on a varsity end, you specifically are concerned with the defensive line, and what a performance from them last night. They had a tough job, you know, trying to contain Hamilton, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the state for sure, and just showing why last night. But Yankton's still able to get some defensive pressure back there, had at least a couple of sacks, maybe even 3. I'm waiting on the official stats for that, but just top of the dome, I'm going to go ahead and say Edley Amaro had a great game getting into the backfield, and it really seems like he's getting more comfortable.
Yeah, you know, every week he's getting better. He's listening to the coaching improvements. I mean, Hamilton's he was one tough dude last night. He kept getting up, and we told him before the game, and I had thought about it. If you look at our starting 3 guys up front, if you kind of take away that edge guy, it was their second varsity start. So that would kind of hit me on the way home last night that, okay, we're still young. Edley Amaro was playing freshman football last year. I mean, so it's a big jump for him. So, yeah, it was overall contained him pretty well. We had a little bit of a difficulty. I think we got a little bit over-worried with contain and lost some of our aggressiveness. But, I mean, in the end, got the job done. Showed a lot of good things on tape. I think every player should have made at least several plays that showed about what we want, a perfect technique for defending a quarterback like that. So it's something to build on, but still something to learn from. But all in all, compared to other position groups, we came through it pretty healthy, I guess, no injuries. So just get back to work and got another tough task ahead of us in a different way next week.
This will be the second time I've used this analogy today, but I don't care. But sometimes, you get the car across the finish line. It doesn't matter if there's some chip paint, right?
That's right. A few small little aches and pains, but Riker Frang has just been so consistent in that middle. He just kind of knows how to stay square and work through the trash. And Derek Beals, just a beast. Lucas Cordell came in, gave us some good rush. Peyton Eustace, I think we'd have to call it an official sack. Played that edge about perfect, got a sack. Frankie Invold came in and got a sack on the end. There were a few times, and
he also had a deflection at the line, I think, too.
I think he had a deflection. I guess that just jogged my memory. Our for the first time, I don't know. It's been a while. Probably I don't have the official statistic, but the defensive line group led in interceptions for the Bucks. So
the surefire hands of Derek Beal.
The surefire hands. I hope that's how you called it last night. So
I think I did actually.
It felt like that play went on for about 20 seconds. I know it wasn't, but it felt like it took about 20 seconds. I don't know. I may have. I think I was seeing stars, and I don't know if I was yelling at him, just go down or what. But that was exciting. Some memorable one. So a lot of good stuff to take from him, but stuff to learn from too.
Well, another huge victory. Or actually, finally, Yankton JV gets to play some football, right?
Yeah.
And 28-0 victory Monday at Crane. 28-0 victory versus Pierre of all teams. Just excellent performance, Coach. Yankton had their biggest quarter in the fourth offensively, and I could just say all four quarters were the biggest defensively for the Bucks.
I don't know if I mentioned it this year specifically, but it's just that group of sophomores. I coached them as seventh graders and then taught them as eighth graders, coached them as freshmen, and now get to see them again. So kind of a special group. The juniors playing with us, it was we're still I hadn't had too much interaction with them outside of the defensive linemen, so it was a team that meshed together really well. Defensively, we rotated a lot of guys in. I'm going to say Thomas Reardon in the middle knows how to get downhill. Jason Lachek still knows how to get downhill. We lost him last year in the freshman team to JV, so he's a little more seasoned. The whole secondary just played just sharp. I mean, Micah Maska and Matt Grotenheis at the corners, and then we rotated in Brendan Gilmore, Carter Boomsma. Owen Isis and Cale Hazlehurst played deep safeties, and it was like some people might get this reference. I kept hitting L1 tap back to push the L1 up to push the corners back, and just kind of hope to get some pressure on the line. And we have a few. I don't know if I kind of look around at practice sometimes, and I say, hey, this guy could be an edge. So we've been really working with Jake Bivens, Talon Kenny, and Cale Gary on the edge. Just that was their first game time doing it, and in first play, Talon Kenny rips past on-balance tight end and just goes up. I mean, it looked like a big-time defensive end NFL college play, immediately goes for the ball, strips it, and recovers his own fumble. So that was a heck of a first play to get things going. And I think that got our guys thinking past, okay, these guys have won quite a few championships in a row, but maybe time for the tides to turn a little bit, or the tides ebb and flow. Time for it to ebb for us.
I think the rest of South Dakota is hoping that.
Yeah.
Is the case.
So offensively too, I guess help out with. It's usually that's Coach Decker's forte, but Jason Lachek ran the ball really well. Tate Bestie threw a couple of nice touchdowns to Abe O'Brien. I will say with Tate Bestie, it was good to see him back out there. I had to congratulate him after his first touchdown because last year we lost him on that first drive as a freshman. after he didn't play middle school football for us. So it was really fun to see him out there, and I probably had an arrhythmia every time they were going to hit him, and he did get hit on the sidelines once on a personal foul, so that was happy to see him.
His first pass attempt of the season, I just realized, was under the Friday Night Lights varsity before he even got to throw in for JV.
It was, yeah. He got some time at Mitchell, and Tate's been doing a great job at scout quarterback and making our defense better. So super happy that he came back and seemingly doing well.
Yeah, and just looking at all these guys, and you mentioned defensively, just the workload seems to be shared across the board defensively. It is a lot of red helmets getting to the ball, right?
That was the plan. Got some sacks. Brendan Gilmore had a nice interception there at towards the end of the game when Pierre looked like they were kind of driving, so that kind of put it away. And the guys were pumped. By that time, the varsity players had finished their lift up. The coaches were there, so it was a fun fourth quarter.
I usually have this written down in front of me, but what's the next JV matchup?
Next JV is Monday. We got postponed to 7 due to heat at home versus T. So another big rivalry game, I guess, or as rival as you can get for only playing for a few years in a row. But I have a little bit of a personal vendetta with them, so we're hoping to look. I'm Vermilion. We played them for a few years, and it'd be kind of nice to be on the other end of it.
Yeah, that's another go support the Bucks and also scout a little bit of the future for sure. For some of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
So looking forward to that one, Coach. Thanks for joining us as always on the Coach's Corner. You got your pizza, right?
I got lots of pizza. Breakfast of Champions.
Breakfast of Champions.
Yeah.
Coach Dan Schwach, Yankton Bucks football. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break, come back, and continue here on the Coach's Corner.
The other day, a gal came into the UPS store to drop off a package. On her way out, she noticed the print sample wall and asked if we could print invitations. The answer was, yes, we can. Hi, this is Doug at the UPS store in Yankton and Vermilion. For over 7 years now, the UPS store has been helping hundreds of customers with their printing needs. From basic copies to business cards and invitations to posters, we can print them. Stop out and ask about our current print specials and see how we can help with your printing needs.
Sports injuries can be the result of competitive activities, but can also happen by just participating in leisure activities too. If you're experiencing pain as the result of your chosen activity, consider chiropractic care. I'm Dr. Mackenzie Erlinson with First Chiropractic Centers. We have experienced chiropractors that work with sports injuries every day. Our treatment options are aimed to minimize pain, reduce recovery time, and reduce risk of future injuries. Visit First Chiropractic Centers, making life better, one adjustment at a time.
Investing in your home is easier and more fun when you have local choices. This is Cody Miles, owner of Upper Midwest Garage Door. We offer a wide variety of American-made, unique Clopay garage doors, free in-home consultations, a digital preview of the new garage doors on your home, and the expert small-town service you deserve. Get started today with your local independent Clopay dealer, Upper Midwest Garage Door. Give us a call, stop by, or learn more at uppermidwestgaragedoor.com.
Bring the crew to Pete's Ranch in Yankton. This is Annie, and we have legendary pizza and chicken just waiting for you on our buffet. Let us know what you're craving, and we'll make it fresh and bring you the first slice. Or let us deliver right to your front door. Your locally owned Yankton Pizza Ranch on Broadway, 665-1222.
It's where life tastes better. Surround them up and head her down to the Pizza Ranch. Whoa, that's good.
Do you really think it's a good idea to buy insurance off the internet? After all, it is insurance. It's not a commodity like a toaster. It's a contract to protect what you value most: your home, your car, your business, your health, and even your life. You need a professional, in-person agent to make sure you have the right coverage to fit your family's needs. Schedule an appointment with us today. Missouri River Associates, 665-6885.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. We're continuing talking Yankton Bucks football, joined by the Coach Savvies. I decided on that now. Remember last week we were how do we do this? The Coach Savvies. Coaches,
sounds great.
Did you guys get your pizza?
Yes. We did.
All right, awesome. Hey, so Yankton freshman Bucks football finally got to play a game. That was nice. And so
it was nice.
40-0 victory over Mitchell. That was on Thursday over at Crane, and it was another hot one, right? It's just been this early fall. Just seems like summer may as well never have went away. It's just been so hot.
For sure. Yeah. It's been a unique start to the season, to say the least. So.
Yeah, and that heat gets trapped in the turf a little bit as well. I know that, and I imagine the players know that more than anyone, right?
Yes.
A few degrees hotter down there, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and start offensively for the freshman team. Miles Drotzman, 126 yards, 3 touchdowns in that victory. Coach, just take it away with his performance. What'd you think?
Yeah, we ran the ball really well. Obviously, you can see we threw the ball like 4 times, and we didn't need to throw the ball too much. Tried to throw a few times just to mix things up, but
if it ain't broke, right?
Right, it ain't broke. Yeah, don't change it. So we continued to run the ball, and we had a lot of success getting outside, on the edge. And when you got runners like Miles Drotzman, Tegan LaCroix, once they get into space, they are hard to bring down, which they proved with a couple of big runs that they all had. So great job of blocking by our line, and then just a great job, the vision and the running of our backs, Miles and Tegan especially, was a big difference, obviously.
And Tegan LaCroix, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns as well. 2 blocked punts for the Yankton Bucks. So it was a great job by special teams and defense overall. Carson Krall returned a blocked punt for 34 yards for a score. And Peyton Couts also had a blocked punt, just really getting some pressure, right?
Yeah. We kind of saw it after the first punt. He had kind of put a bug in my ear. He's like, I think we can probably get that. So we went after it the next 2 times and successfully got it both times, and they did a great job playing after the fact as well, and being heads up enough to scoop and try and score it. And Carson, made a great play and stumbled through a bunch of defenders. I'm not quite sure how he got out of that into the end zone, but he did, so that was great.
Landon Lewis had 2 sacks and a fumble recovery, and as well as Ben Bowman and Kane Steinberg each had a sack. There's just a lot of players that you can keep going down these statistical categories and say, hey, talk to me about this guy and this guy. But overall, just a lot of numbers for both defense and offense.
Yeah. What I think, I look at those numbers, and just like you said, I think what I really took away from that game is we did a great job just playing team defense. There wasn't anybody trying to really be a superhero and run all over the field and make tackles that aren't necessarily their responsibility. They did a great job for their first game on a high school field of just, they played their responsibility, played their gap, let the play come to them, and then made the tackle. And I think that's why you see such a spread of stats. But Madden McQuaid did a nice job shooting into the backfield, and he had quite a few tackles for losses, and then some sacks as well. So he had a great game, but across the defense, we played just very well team defense.
I know the Yankton Bucks football program goes well past 9th grade, even down deeper, but I know 9th grade is kind of where, and tell me if I'm wrong, where a lot of these kids are starting to pick up kind of the varsity playbook or remnants of it, right? Kind of the building blocks. How's that been going as far as them comprehending this?
Well, yeah, and as the season goes on, we try to progress. We really want it. We're not as fast, obviously, as we would like to be. So we continue to, just like I said, progress to get faster and faster. And hopefully, this next week we go, obviously travel to Huron for our first away game. But we're hoping that, we can pick things up a little bit more each week and continue to execute as number one. But just understanding how fast that, you're going to be playing in the next 3 years on the varsity and getting them used to that pace. So, yeah, we'll gradually progress to that, and then hopefully by the end of the year they have a little better idea of what it's going to be like. So.
When you coaches go to places like Huron or host teams too, but especially the away games, how much of it is also being tabbed by the upper coaches saying, hey, also it's kind of a scouting trip, right? Kind of seeing what's coming up in the pipeline for these other teams. And you guys are kind of responsible for scouting that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You go back to the first week, our JV was supposed to play Mitchell that first Monday, and we didn't get to play him. So that was
there goes
kind
that
of a
scouting
bummer
trip, yeah.
Because there goes that scouting. And, coming in, Mitchell came in with a new coach and stuff, so we kind of we're going by last year's stuff. But yeah, absolutely. When we go up to play Huron on Thursday, that'll definitely, kind of give us an idea of, what their offense and stuff is like. So, yeah, we definitely use those JV freshman games. Take a look at that, and so.
Well, always nice to start the season off with a victory, and we'll get some closing comments here from you coaches. Coach Blake Savvy, closing comments on the kind of the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the first week and what I saw from the guys. I think we had plenty of takeaways, though, as far as just kind of little things, even just in between plays, being ready for the next call to come in, their next again, those preparations for as we get into higher levels and the plays come faster and faster, just coachable moments to have those guys ready for a faster pace of game. So plenty of takeaways, but their play on the field was great as a team for this first week, and really happy with the results.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I'm really proud of our guys and what they kind of had to go through as far as, we were at Mount Marty almost all of last week practicing, and obviously the varsity needed the turf, and we ended up being on the side on the basketball courts, just kind of running through plays, but very little contact, obviously.
The scheme and stuff, yeah.
And things like that, and we couldn't go as fast, and just all that. So a unique situation with the heat and stuff, and these boys still, did what we asked them to and came out, and I think had a lot of intensity for finally getting to be able to play after 3.5 weeks of practice.
Well, it's been built up, right? They're ready.
That's what I said. We said to them, we're just like, you guys better be ready to play, because
there's another color.
We're anxious to finally, as coaches, to play a game. So we know you guys better be, and they were. They went out, and it was a good way to start the season.
All right, the Coach Savvies join us here at the Coaches Corner. Coaches, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, a longer weekend. So hopefully you have some fun stuff planned.
Right,
thank you.
You too. Thanks.
All right, we continue here on the Coaches Corner after this break.
When I'm searching for adventure, I find it on the range. Archery challenges me to be curious, see opportunity, and welcome big challenges. It teaches me to focus and never quit until the last arrow hits. Archery allows me to show my spirit at Mount Marty University. How do you show your adventurous side? Schedule your campus visit to Mount Marty University at showyourspiritmmu.com.
FNBO is the great big small bank, and for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations, and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com, member FDIC.
Hello, here's to welcoming moments, big and small, embracing the unexpected, savoring life. At Avera, our nationally recognized health system will be right here with you, ready for anything. We listen to your goals and help you achieve them with care and coverage. We'll move you forward through sickness and health and every milestone in between. Avera, moving health forward. Learn more at avera.org/forward.
Truxedo is proud to have been part of the Yankton community since its start in 2000.
One of the things I love most is that they believe in promoting from within. I've been given many opportunities to advance.
Truxedo has an extensive variety of benefits available to their employees.
The work environment at Truxedo is extremely positive.
We are looking for you to join our production team. Visit www.truxedo.com/careers to apply.
All right, we continue here on the Coaches Corner, 1019 Broadway Avenue. Bryce Ladwig here, joined by Coach Brett Syme, Yankton Bucks Golf. Coach, good morning. Did you get your pizza?
I did get a couple of pieces, and I was waiting for it. I was hungry.
All right, beautiful. All right, Coach, so first we'll get started off with the Marchand Cup that was at Mitchell on Tuesday. Yankton did lose because it's a different format, and you can talk about it again, but a 17-7 loss for the Bucks. But overall, I guess the first thing to ask is, did the guys have fun? Because I know that's just a really special event that everyone kind of has circled.
I think they did. Disappointed at the results, I guess. But the kids wanted to go up there. Like I said last week, they were hungry after the tie last year. They wanted to go up and maybe bring home the cup back to Yankton. But going up, we knew it was going to be tough. Mitchell had beat us most of the times throughout the season when we've had to face them in some of the invitationals. But we had beaten them in the Huron Invitational last Friday. But we just went up there. Mitchell played really well, and they actually showed that they were a little deeper maybe than we were. It was a great tournament, though. We always get to tell them at the beginning of the tournament what it's all about. It's in honor of Rob Marchand, who played for Yankton and coached for Mitchell. And, he just wanted to have a tournament that was different, have some fun, but still be able to compete. And so that's why the coach at the time of Rob's passing, we decided to go with this format, kind of a Ryder Cup style, and do it in his honor. And it's always a great one. The kids always look forward to it. We came up short. Mitchell played really well, on their home course. They know it well. We just, we did. We came up short, got beat 17-7. But, we did have some good efforts out there. The kids went out. They competed hard. They kept trying, even though we were getting beat pretty bad. And in the best ball, the first 6 holes, Eli Larson and Kai Cody, 2 freshmen that have been playing pretty well for us this year, went out and got us a point. They won their match. And Miles Kraske and Henry Homestead, they have their match. So we ended up getting beat in the best ball 4.5 to 1.5. The scramble portion of the tournament was where Mitchell kind of really took it to us. They beat us 5-1. Easton Velick and Parker Riley got our lone point there. They were the only group to win their match. And then in the singles, Mitchell came out on top 7.5, 4.5, but our varsity, our top 6 golfers actually went 3.5, 2.5 against theirs. So, if we look at the varsity, I think we're competitive with Mitchell. We just have to, work with some of those younger guys to maybe be able to compete at a little bit higher level, and I think they'll do that. We had some really young players, a lot of freshmen, an 8th grader, and kids like that. But in the singles matches, Easton Velick, Henry Homestead, and Eli Larson all came out with a victory in their match. And Miles Kraske, Riker Larson, and Easton Skelhaas got a halve in their match. So, like I said, if I look at the varsity, we scored 1.5 in the best ball, scored 1 in the scramble, scored 3.5 in the singles. Add them up, you get 6. And there was a total of 12 points for the varsity golfers. So, we were 6-6 with Mitchell. So that was good, on the varsity side of it. Like I said, just maybe a little bit of work to do with the JV kids. And it's going to be good. We're going to look forward to getting back home next year on probably on Fox Runs Golf Course and try and get that cup back. But we'll come hungry next year at home and try and get that back.
And then you guys had the Harrisburg Quadrangular that was at Spring Creek Country Club yesterday. And varsity finished 4th, and the JV also participated. They finished 4th. And the scores for Yankton, 327, a plus 30, and 9. Taking the team title, I guess you could say, was Harrisburg, minus 14, 274. I'll let you go into individual results.
Yeah, I tell you what. It was going to be a good tournament for us. We're playing against 3 really quality teams there. We knew it was going to be tough to beat any one of those teams. They're all from up around the Sioux Falls area, maybe a little more familiar with that course than we are. But a lot of our guys have played there, so I was hoping we'd go up and play well. It did end up being kind of a warm and windy day. But, scores overall in the tournament were very good. I mean, Harrisburg shooting 14 under par as a team, just crazy. And I guess on Tuesday they shot 18 under par against the 4 Sioux Falls schools, Sioux Falls public schools. They're just playing some really good quality golf, and that course, their home course, they always seem to tear it apart. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a hot streak right there.
Yeah, you don't see team scores like that very often. You might every now and then see one sneak under par or even par or a little over par, but you just don't see scores like, double digit under par. So, that's a testament to how well they can play and how well they can play on their home course. Yeah, we ended up 4th, but like I said, it was 3 quality teams that we were playing against. Those 3 teams in all the tournaments we've had so far, almost halfway through our season here. In fact, we are kind of halfway through the season. We have not beaten one of those teams yet, so we were hoping maybe we'd been pretty competitive with Brandon. We were hoping to maybe sneak up there and jump ahead of them, but we did not have our best day yesterday. But we were led by Easton Velik, who's been a pretty solid number 1 for us. Shot 78, broke 80 again. He was in 13th place, and that just goes to show how good the golf was yesterday. To break 80 and shoot 78 and be in 13th place, there was just a lot of good golf going on out there. And in a tie for 14th was Parker Riley with an 80. Miles Kraske shot 83, tied for 18th. Kai Cody 86. Eli Larson 87, Henry Homestead 89. We just need some of those scores to get down closer to 80, or try to get a couple more guys to break that 80 mark, and we'll be competitive, and we're hoping to maybe do that next week when we have our Yankton Invitational. On the JV side of things, had a couple of really good individual efforts. Riker Larson, who's really been knocking on the door of that a varsity spot, goes out and shoots 80. So if we look at the whole field and everything, he would have tied for 2nd for us. So, good things coming from him. Isaac Dimmer, another freshman that's really improving, went out and shot an 85. So it was a great tournament for him, probably a personal best in tournament golf. William Youngbloom and Braden Birkeland shot 93, and Colton Hopkins shot 94. It was a good tournament. We maybe didn't shoot what we wanted to. We just need to try and compete at a little bit higher level. But that's what we're going to work on here towards the end of the season. And hopefully we can get one good week of practice in here and go out and compete well at our Yankton Invite next week.
All right, talk more about that, Coach. The day and when it starts, and just kind of your overall thoughts. Obviously, playing at home is always special for these guys.
Yeah. It's Friday, February, September 8th. I wish it was February. It wouldn't be as hot as it's going to be. But, we're going to play at Fox Run starting at 10 a.m. on Friday. Big field. There's going to be 15 teams here. The only teams that will not be here out of AA golf will be Rapid City Central, Spearfish, Sturgis, and Douglas. So everybody else in AA golf will be here. It'll be a great tournament to see where we sit, measuring stick, if you may, of where we are in the state right now, halfway through the season. And it's going to be really an ESD preview, because ESD is going to be held at Fox Run here towards the end of the month. And, we're going to see where we're at. We're hoping that we can be up towards, maybe the top of the ESD. But I tell you what, there's a lot of good EST teams out there. You saw Harrisburg and Brandon from the tournament yesterday. Watertown and Pierre are really good. So it's going to be a tough field, but we're hoping we can play well at home and do well at the Yankton Invite next week. And hopefully what we do is we place top 15 and top 5 teams. We're hoping maybe we can jump into that top 5 and really fight for one of those spots, but it's going to be tough. There's a lot of good teams out there, so hopefully a good week of practice and go out and play well on our home course out at Fox Run. And I got to thank them for letting us host, or being a host out there, and we'll have a good tournament next Friday.
Yeah, the ESD, or even AA for that matter, there isn't a lack of talent, as you mentioned, Coach. And
no,
it's
lots of good golf right now in AA golf.
Yeah, lots of good golf. Thanks to Coach Bryce Ladwig joining us here in the studio on the Coach's Corner. Coach, thanks for coming in.
All right, thanks a lot, Bryce. Have a good Labor Day weekend.
All right, you as well. We'll take a break and come back here on the Coach's Corner.
Olson Pest Technicians is a family-owned business since 1966. And with over 50 years of pest management, they understand your issues, and their well-trained team will help you solve your pest problems. Issues with cockroaches, ants, bedbugs, bats, termites, spiders, rats, mice, or other creepy crawling pests? Give your home a fresh start and use the proven method of fumigation to take care of your pest problem. Olson's Pest Technicians will thoroughly get rid of pests so you can rest easy again. Call Olson Pest today, 800-KILL-BUG. That's 1-800-KILBUGS.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Call State Farm agent Rhonda Westland at 665-4411.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. Core Trust helps your business thrive with checking, online bill pay, small business loans, credit card processing, local approval and support for government grants and loans, investments to grow your hard-earned assets, and insurance to protect them. All from Core Trust, the community bank that's right down the street and everywhere you want us to be. Visit coretrustbank.com today.
Member FDIC.
Do you have dry, sore, or irritated eyes? If so, you may have dry eye. At Vision Care Associates, we offer a simple, fast, and non-surgical procedure to treat black glands in your eyelids that can help your eyes to feel comfortable again. Schedule an appointment with Dr. Fieser to find out about dry eye treatment with our newest technology.
Vision Care Associates, where the health of your eyes comes first.
Hey, welcome back to the Coaches Corner. Bryce Ladwig here, being joined by Coach Kate Savvy, Yankton Cross Country. Coach, good morning to you. You guys had to roll in a little late last night from the Augustana Twilight, right?
Yeah, we sure did.
Yeah, and but overall good bonding experience for the team. I hope before we get into results, just good experience for them.
Yeah, that's such a fun meet to go to, not just as a runner for the kids, but also as a coach. Like, I got to watch my kids just really absorb this very competitive atmosphere where you have almost 400 runners in every race. And so they're just really learning how to run uncomfortable and try new things to put themselves into a placing spot. So.
And you also said college runs there too, so they often, the ones that want to maybe continue doing this at the next level like you did, they get to see kind of how it's done in person, right, at this big meet.
Yeah, we always try and stay for the college girls and boys, so our kids can watch and they love it. The atmosphere there, completely dark, we're running under the lights, and you can feel the ground shake as these like college kids just run by because they're so talented that they're just running in these huge packs. And these kids in high school are like, kind of like you said, if they want to do this in their future, like they're just looking at it in awe. And so it's really exciting, and I believe a lot of our kids will be out there in future years. And we had Thea Chance from last year. She was running for the Yotes last night, so that's always super fun to cheer on someone you got to coach and be a teammate with. So
absolutely. Let's get into the results. Gazelles finished 13th, Bucks 20 at 9th. And I guess I'll turn it over to you, Coach. We'll start with the Gazelles, kind of just individual results.
Yeah, started off with JV. They ran a 3K, and like I said, you have about 300 runners in each race, maybe 4 in some of them. And so
it's hard to think about, actually.
It is, and like in cross country, the beauty of it is like they spread out along the race. But when you're only running a 3K, there's no spreading out. So where you start is kind of where you're going to see yourself finish. But I thought our girls did very well. A lot of PRs on our JV side. And going into varsity, we had 2 girls, Rylan Jackson and Delaney Yeomans, who came in great spots just for being so young. And they both broke 21 minutes, which is a big deal. And I think they'll continue to just cut that time down. Along with our other girls who ran varsity, they followed right behind, still under 22. So it's really cool to just see our girls team succeed in that way. And kind of putting together a full girl team this year has been a lot of fun. We got to kind of play around that if this was the state meet, which when I tell the kids, this is bigger than state. Like they would have placed 5th, and that's so huge for them, who I know last year we were just kind of where could we get girls. So it was super cool for our Gazelles last night.
And then turn over to the Bucks side. Obviously for them, a huge race as well. And you just keep saying these numbers to me, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around just imagining that many runners. Because a 3K, like you said, I mean, it's a distance, but it's not like what you're usually running, right? So it's just a lot more jammed. How does a runner really get past anyone?
Yeah. And luckily our varsity still got to run 5Ks because they did push the time back to try and beat some of the heat. But I think like the best thing that our kids knew was that if they wanted to put themselves in a successful spot to finish, they had to start fast. And a lot of people try and step away from that because they don't want to waste it all or be uncomfortable, but that's racing. You have to be uncomfortable to just go after what you want. And our JV boys, they did awesome as well. another 400 plus amount of runners in their race. And it was fun to watch these little freshmen and other sophomores going after it and just racing with other boys from different schools. So that was good for them. Our boys varsity was a lot of fun. We had Abe Chance and Harrison Krowski, which just to credit those two and how hard they worked this summer, like watching them put in the miles and wake up in the morning so they could get them in was super cool. And I think that's going to pay off a lot in this season for them. So last night they started out strong, put themselves in successful positions, and they just kept going after it. And it was really fun to just watch them chase down not only the South Dakota boys that they'll be racing the rest of the year, but you get Minnesota and Nebraska in there, and they're really talented runners as well. So they were just fighting, trying to pick off as many guys as they could. And Harrison was getting down to a low 17, which is pretty good where we want to be at this start of the season. And Abe was right behind him. So end of the season, we get those down. I think they'll be just fine to succeed at state. Other boys on varsity, a lot of newcomers, so it was fun to watch them kind of embrace their role and help our team place 29th out of 45. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I guess two-part question to wrap things up, Coach, is kind of what's the focus going into next Saturday's invite at Brandon Valley, and then also what's that course like up there?
BV, that course, I'll start with that question first, is always a fun one. The kids call the hill of death or something, McCarty, because it's so large and steep that it looks like they're walking. And I know that they're going fast. And
it has to be a real thing, because Coach Yeomans in the past has mentioned that a couple times too, and I've always laughed at that. So it must be a real thing that they're really saying, right?
They do. There's signs on the bottom of the hill that say, "Be warned, this is the hill." And so it's great. But going to BV, I think, is a great just prep for the season. BV girls, BV guys, they're top 2 right now ranked to win state. And so if we want to see where we're at against them, we got to go there and we got to have a mindset that we need to compete with them and lay it all out there. I think we'll get a couple guys back for our varsity, so they'll have a more upfront pack for us, which will be good and help bring our other boys back with them. So it'll be exciting.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk, well, not that Saturday because we'll be out there, but we'll try to get a recording done for this show next week. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds awesome.
All right, and do you have any big special plans, a long weekend?
Just hanging out in Yankton. Best place to be.
Best place to be. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll take a break here on the Coach's Corner and come back here at 1019 Broadway Avenue.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Don't gamble. Insure with MT&RC Smith Insurance in Yankton, your independent agent for home, business, auto, life, and bonds. MTRCSmithInsurance.com.
At Triple Time Rudy's, you get convenient access to quality fuel products. Plus, you'll also find quality South Dakota products like Dimmock cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. With a local-friendly feel and unique product offering, Triple Time Rudy's is your local convenience store that supports schools and events and provides fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers. For all of your daily fill-ups and convenience needs, pull into Triple Time Rudy's at 17th and Broadway.
Attention homeowners, if you've been on the fence about selling, I'd love the opportunity to sit and visit with you. With low inventory, now would be a good time to call me, Deb Speck at Vision Real Estate. I'll provide you with a free market analysis and a no-pressure approach. Call me at 605-664-5555 to find out if now is the right time to make a move.
Know what happens when you keep your hard-earned assets at First Dakota National Bank? You can rest assured that your accounts are protected to the maximum allowed by the FDIC. And those funds stay local. Businesses and organizations are positively impacted. The whole community benefits. You can invest your resources just about anywhere today. But if you keep them safe, earn a good return, and benefit the local community, why would you invest anywhere else? First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. This is Bryce Ladwig. Thank you for joining us. And let's start talking Yankton competitive dance and cheer being joined by Coach Stacy Reich. And Coach, good morning. First time having you in the studio this season.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
How was your summer?
Summer was good.
Still feels like summer.
It does still feel like summer. We had lots of fun things this summer. It was a little different summer with the dance team. We had some girls do a little bit of traveling. One went to Spain with a Spanish trip. One went to Africa on a mission trip. One went to Europe with an SDSU band thing. So they were coming and going all summer long, and I was happy that they got to do those opportunities. And they, of course, came back with all kinds of stories and pictures, and we all got to experience the trip with them.
Competitive dance and cheer up at the Watertown Invite. That was on Thursday night.
Yep, it was Thursday this year. They switched the date from Tuesday to Thursday, which was nice since we got home at about midnight.
Yeah.
We only had one day of school to muscle through, so that was good.
And this morning, you said you could talk a little bit about competitive cheer. Coach Gable not here this morning, and let's talk about them first, Coach. Finished 11th, a 192 score. Taking that team title was Harrisburg. I guess, how is it dancing? We talk about this every year, but I forget. I always ask Coach Hagen tennis, Coach Simon golf, and dance and cheer, kind of, because you guys are doing different venues all the time. I like to ask, kind of, what's that venue like?
Well, it's kind of warm. There is no air conditioning.
Kind of like the studio right now?
Yeah, kind of like the studio right now. There's no AC in the gym itself. It's out in the hallways. So I feel for the parents, they're sitting up high in the rafters, and we're down on the floor, so at least it's a little cooler for the athletes. But it's a great atmosphere. I think the parents really like it because you really can look down and see the formations on the cheer mat or on the dance floor. So it's a really nice trip. They always do a great job hosting up there. Very hospitable, nice locker room facilities. It's really good.
And cheer finished 11th. Dance, Coach, finished 3rd. What a performance by the dance team. You have to be very proud.
I am extremely proud. Yeah, it was a fun night. We talk about going into the week at the beginning. We talked about let's just get a score. Because you put this dance together in the summer. We had 2 choreographers come this summer. Actually, we went with a new company. It's called Move Dance Collective. They're based out of Texas, but they have a Minnesota Midwest feel because their owners were former U of M dance team people. And so we got 2 U of M dance team girls. They are currently on the team right now as seniors to come to Yankton for a few days and work with our team. It was really fun because they are the national champions in both cheer, or both pom and jazz. So to have them come down to Yankton and get to talk with our girls about being on a college team, just their experiences. They have a totally different way of choreographing things. I was extremely impressed. They had nothing written down in a notebook, which I am old school. I have to write everything down. But they came and they had nothing written down. They had an app that they had formations, and you could see how people should move on the floor. It was very impressive, and anything that I said I wanted different, it was fixed on the spot, and it looked like it was supposed to be that way all the time.
I'm not going to lie, Coach. A little offended you didn't ask me to choreograph a dance, because you've seen my daughter Kirby's dance moves on Facebook. Where do you think she learned that from?
I'm sure it's from you.
Quite impressive.
She is very impressive.
No, but the team very impressive as well. Coach, you also danced at the last Friday's halftime versus Mitchell.
Yep.
Very excellent job, and the crowd excited. The girls seemed very excited to be out there.
Yeah, so that's our POM routine for the year. When we met with the seniors last spring to kind of start finalizing some music, we always try to go with a theme. And so they thought, let's do 80s music. So they decided to do Ladies of the 80s. And so then it was narrowing down, like, do we want it to be all female artists, or are we the ladies of the 80s? And we could go with male or female singers. But we decided to stick with all female artists. And so they've got some great music in there, and it's a fun, fast routine. I think the crowd really likes it because the parents were all of that generation, that's the music we grew up with. So we always talk about, playing to your audience and selling it to your audience. So the music really fits that this year.
Hey, whenever anything rhymes, it's the best.
Yes, it is.
Rhyming is the way to go. Coach, it's our first time talking this season, so I'll ask you kind of how did practice start? Like, when did that start? And just How was developing the team? Because you had to kind of push a soft reset every year, right?
Yep, we do. So we have tryouts. This year we had them in late April. We do summer open gym time. They would just kind of they work on turns. The seniors really led that this summer, like they do every year. We broke into groups, and so there were a few in charge of, you're going to be in charge of turns, you're going to be in charge of jumps, you're going to do the conditioning. They kind of decided that amongst themselves, and then we the actual season started on July 31st this year was our first official practice. That's when we got to go into our main gym at the high school. Otherwise, we do open gym at the middle school. And as soon as you step into that gym, even though it's practice, it's real. And so they get in the gym, they see what it's going to be like. We talk about the floor every day. They kind of test to see what the floor is, because some days it's really sticky if it's really extra humid, like it's been lately, and hot. So it's harder to turn. Other days it's really slick, so it's slippery. But they're always talking about that. And I kind of like that as a coach, that the floor is never the same, because we only dance one time at home, and you never know what the floor is going to be like at the school you go to. So I like that they've had to adjust at practice, because it gets them ready for competition. So we've done practices every morning again this year at 6 a.m. We meet in the gym, and they practice till about 7:25, 7:30, and then they're off to the races at their full day of classes, which they've had 2 full weeks now of school, so we'll see how things are going there. They've had chem tests, they've had bio test, I think. We had an anatomy test, math quizzes. I always do a check-in, how's school going? Does anybody need some help? What can we do to make that better? So
I'm always checking on my teacher too.
Yes, you better
Ladwig.
check on Mrs. Ladwig.
Make sure she's doing what she needs to do.
Yes, I think my daughter has her this year right now for, does she poetry?
Sure,
right?
sure.
Oh, sure
No,
she
yeah,
does.
she
Yep,
does, she
she
does.
does. Yeah, so Madison's
I'm joking, Katie. I know.
Madison has her right now in AP Lit, so hopefully she's doing good. So.
Yeah. Thursday at home, the only home competition of the season, so an extra big deal. I believe it starts at 5.
Yep,
if I'm
5
correct.
p.m. in the main gym. We'll be putting the meet schedule together here. People always say, when is Yankton going to dance? I don't know yet. I haven't got that schedule finalized, but it's a rough time. It's about 5 minutes per group, it seems like, by the time you get the judges to get their score put together, and then the next group calls. So, yeah, 5 o'clock, come out and watch the cheer and the dance. It'll also be senior night. This year, combined, we have 8 seniors in both cheer and dance. There's 7 that are in dance. There's 1 that's in cheer. And then if you want to do the math, one of those 7 does cheer as well. So we've got 1 doubled up senior this year, 6 just dance, 1 just cheer. So that's 7 people, or 8 people.
Yeah, I went to the competition last year, and not only did Kirby just have the best time of her life with the music, but it was a great atmosphere. And it doesn't matter when Yankton was dancing or cheering, it was just nice to see all the teams. It's just very interesting to watch. It really kind of captivates you.
Yeah, it's probably a unique sport, because it's one of those things that even though you're cheering for your school to do the best, you are also cheering for every other school to do their best as well. It's very much a collaborative effort. Like last week in Watertown, one of the teams, we happened to be up at the front, and we were watching their jazz dance, and a girl stepped out of bounds, and she kind of fell out of her turns, and you could just see her face kind of crush. And our girls were like, come on, you can do this. Come on, get back in. You got it. And they were cheering for her, even though she's not from our school.
Because they know the hard work that goes into doing it, right?
Right,
and
right.
You want to win, as you're mentioning, but overall, you just don't want to see anyone have that happen.
No,
you want to see everyone cross the finish line.
Yeah, you want to see everybody do the best they can. And on the cheer side, if somebody falls and gets hurt, or a stunt drops, the whole crowd is shocked. And, especially when someone gets injured, it's quiet, just like any other sport. But I think definitely for cheer and dance, because typically it's not a event that a lot of people come to. It's kind of just the ones who are performing and competing, those families and close friends. So we have to be there for each other. And, I was really excited, because I walked away on Thursday night, and I had people from all different schools talking to me about how our girls performed and how impressed they were with Yankton, and how they've watched Yankton for the past 3 years, and to see the progression and see what they have this year is just amazing. And so as a coach, that made me feel really good for our athletes because they have worked really hard, and to hear that, I think some of the girls also heard it amongst the other athletes talking about, oh my gosh, did you see Yankton's Jazz and did you see Yankton's Pom? It's so phenomenal this year. They really stepped it up. So they felt this sense of pride, like they are getting noticed and their hard work is paying off. But definitely we always look for the hard work in everyone. I mean, it's always fun to watch Brandon. They're usually they're a powerhouse. Harrisburg is too. O'Gorman usually has a really good team. So in Washington too, as traditionally Sioux Falls, Washington, they've got a legacy up there. And don't count Angela Neiman out. She's going to have her team up and ready to go each and every time she comes to a meet.
Yeah, well, these meets are fun. I can tell you that firsthand. For anyone that wants to go out and support Yankton, I encourage you to do so. That is Thursday at the Summit Activities Center, 5 p.m., and I would get there before it starts. Don't just try to wait for Yankton. As Coach Reich was saying, it's fun just to see all the different teams compete, and I also just like the loud music. I'm a sucker for loud music. So
yeah, so the running bet of Thursday night will be, what does Stacy cry? So
I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, that's kind of the running joke of the year is how many times will Stacy cry at a meet. I think I'm up to like 4 now, maybe.
So have they set a line? So is that like 4.5?
I don't know. It started this summer. We were at UDA camp and Madison did something and I was just watching and the other coaches and I started crying and they're like, oh, it's so good. And I said, she's a senior and she's mine. And they were like, oh okay.
Okay.
So, and then I can't remember the night. I did get through parent preview night without a tear. That was good. I think I kind of cried at Riverboat Days, walking the parade towards the tail end, knowing it was the last one with her. I could cry now. Oh, no. There you go. Add it to 5 now. No.
That's good.
So it'll be a great night. I'm looking forward to all of those senior girls because I've known them since they've been 3. So it's going to be a special night for our team.
Well, very exciting. Coach, thanks so much for coming in to the Coach's Corner. Hope we get to do this again very soon.
Yeah, I'll be in next week to talk about the invite, so hope to see tons of people there.
All right, let's Coach Stacy Reich in Yankton competitive dance, as well as talking about cheer. We'll continue here on the Coach's Corner after this break.
Being able to enjoy the warm weather is great. Playing sports, fishing, boating, and just lounging outdoors. But with the warm weather also comes skin issues and concerns, like rash, poison ivy, and other allergies and sunburns. At Yankton Rexall, we have a great selection of over-the-counter products that can help provide you some relief. So don't waste a minute of the warm weather suffering.
Celebrating 100 years, your hometown pharmacy since 1923, Yankton Rexall.
Yankton Medical Clinic is pleased to announce the addition of geriatric specialist Dr. Jennifer Philhouse to their team. Dr. Philhouse will help patients as they age and need an expert who understands the aging process. She uses the John A. Hartford Foundation 4M's framework in her practice. What matters? Medication, mentation, and mobility. If you or a loved one have reached the age where you need expert care, schedule your appointment with her today. Dr. Jennifer Philhouse. Just one more way Yankton Medical Clinic provides so much care, so close to home.
The other day, a gal came into the UPS store to drop off a package. On her way out, she noticed the print sample wall and asked if we could print invitations. The answer was, yes, we can. Hi, this is Doug at the UPS store in Yankton and Vermilion. For over 7 years now, the UPS store has been helping hundreds of customers with their printing needs. From basic copies to business cards and invitations to posters, we can print them. Stop out and ask about our current print specials and see how we can help with your printing needs.
Sports injuries can be the result of competitive activities, but can also happen by just participating in leisure activities too. If you're experiencing pain as the result of your chosen activity, consider chiropractic care. I'm Dr. Mackenzie Erlinson with First Chiropractic Centers. We have experienced chiropractors that work with sports injuries every day. Our treatment options are aimed to minimize pain, reduce recovery time, and reduce risk of future injuries. Visit First Chiropractic Centers, making life better, one adjustment at a time.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. This is Bryce Ladwig, and let's start talking Yankton Gazelles volleyball. And sometimes you just have to own things. You just have to take blame for things. The fact that I don't have Coach Taylor on the show today is actually my fault. That was a scheduling mishap by yours truly. It's all right. I'm allowed 2 mistakes a year. to my wife. But the Gazelles did get swept by Harrisburg. That was on, I believe, Tuesday. Yeah, it was on Tuesday evening. 25-17, 25-17, and 25-5. Harrisburg, one of the best teams in Class AA. A very talented group over there in South Sioux Falls, aka Harrisburg. But Yankton, has shown huge signs of not just improvement, but just cohesiveness this season. It's been really fun to watch them. Obviously, they took O'Gorman into 5 sets, and I believe 3 of those were into extra points as well. So it's been really fun to watch them grow as a team and compete out on the floor. In the Harrisburg matchup, Macy Drotzman had 11 kills, also had an ace. Camille McDermott had a double-double, registering 10 assists on the night, and also had 11 digs. And Peyton Mosier led Yankton overall with 22 kills. In the sub-varsity, Harrisburg won the JV matchup 2-0. And Kayla Llewellyn had 11 assists for Yankton. Jocelyn Peterson had 5 kills. And Gracie Gutzman tallied 9 digs. And then Harrisburg won the sophomore and freshman A team and freshman B team games, all by a score of 2-0. And also thanks to Yankton P&D for the write-up on the sub-varsity action, using that here this morning. But I do want to play the post game that our very own sportscaster Braden Butler had with Coach Stacey Taylor in the post game of the Gazelles volleyball matchup on Tuesday night. I'll go ahead and play that post game again. This is Braden Butler talking to Coach after the Harrisburg matchup.
Head Coach Taylor Stacey of the Yankton Gazelles. And Coach Stacey, we were talking as we were kind of getting ready to come back on air here. This is a very good Harrisburg Tigers team. Despite their youth, they play well above their years.
Yeah, so they definitely brought a challenge on tonight. Definitely have some good hitters, and they're a very scrappy team.
It seemed early on Yankton was able to capitalize on a lot of mistakes in the early sets, a lot of errors made by Harrisburg, and keep those close. But it seemed in that third set, Harrisburg just kind of turned that extra gear, and they remain undefeated on the year. What did you see in those early sets that really, both of them ending 25-17, that allowed to be very competitive sets, even if Yankton couldn't get over that hump?
Yeah, so on our side at least, we definitely, like you said, capitalized on their mistakes, but we could not go on a very long run without us making a mistake. And so even when we're playing those really good teams, that's one thing that we want to focus on is limiting our mistakes, because every point that they get is easy point from one of our mistakes. So limiting our mistakes. But some of the positives that I saw, a lot of communication was really good on our side of the court. We had some nice digs and attacks going on from our back row and as well with our hitters. We also came together with some blocks in those first couple sets.
And one of those players I saw up front who was involved in a couple blocks throughout this one, someone we didn't see against O'Gorman last week, a freshman got the start today. So tell us about Jade and what really brought her into the starting lineup.
Yeah, so since we played Sioux Falls O'Gorman last week, she has really worked hard in practice and shown us that she can put up a big block even though she's not super tall. She has good jumping height, and we thought we'd try it out, and she did well. She got some touches and she got some blocks up there, and so something we'd like to see more of her in our varsity lineups.
I know we talked about last week that this is a very veteran team for Yankton, a lot of seniors on it, so it's nice to see some of the underclassmen being able to jump in and contribute, especially early on in the season. This is only Game 6 for you guys. Looking at a couple of those seniors, though, excuse me, I had a little bit of mic feedback. My apologies there for anyone listening on KYNT and KYNTV. But looking at a couple seniors, though, who led the team statistically, 10 kills in the game for Macy Drotzman, right around the same for Camille McDermott. Obviously, those two senior leaders for this team are always going to be near the top of those statistical categories, and they just remain important for the team. If you can talk about how they were able to get it going a little bit throughout the match. Not as much as maybe they wanted, though.
Yep. Yeah, Macy always seems to find the right spots on the court. I know I told her to hit line, and she saw that on the court as well. And so Harrisburg was not blocking us on the line, so that's where a lot of her kills came from, is just placing the ball in the right spots. Of course, swinging hard as well. And Camille is also just very smart with the ball, knowing where to put it on the court to get those kills.
All right, looking ahead for the Gazelles, you got a run of home matches, which is good after the weekend tournament down in Norfolk, Nebraska for you guys. I believe the next 3 matches are at home again as well, starting with, we just talked about Sioux Falls Roosevelt will be the first coming to town, so you can talk about the Rough Riders coming into Yankton.
Yeah, so another Sioux Falls school, we can expect another difficult, challenging game, but still just getting ready, and this week I think we'll work on lasting all 5 sets, and so a lot of conditioning stuff, things that will help us to keep our energy high when those towards the last few sets.
Well, Coach Stacy, excuse me, I apologize there. I wish you luck in that future game coming up against Sioux Falls Roosevelt. You got another Sioux Falls school right after them with Sioux Falls Washington, and then Huron to round out this homestand. So good luck in those games coming up, and thank you for talking to me today about the Gazelles in this one.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, that was Coach Taylor Stacy with Braden Butler in the post-game of the matchup on Tuesday versus Harrisburg. Again, Yankton face Sioux Falls Roosevelt at home at the Summit Activity Center this coming Tuesday, 7 o'clock varsity start, but get there early for sub-varsity action as well. We'll take a break, come back here on the Coach's Corner. Good morning.
Investing in your home is easier and more fun when you have local choices. This is Cody Miles, owner of Upper Midwest Garage Door. We offer a wide variety of American-made, unique Clopay garage doors, free in-home consultations, a digital preview of the new garage doors on your home, and the expert small-town service you deserve. Get started today with your local independent Clopay dealer, Upper Midwest Garage Door. Give us a call, stop by, or learn more at uppermidwestgaragedoor.com.
Bring the crew to Pete's Ranch in Yankton. This is Annie, and we have legendary pizza and chicken just waiting for you on our buffet. Let us know what you're craving, and we'll make it fresh and bring you the first slice. Or let us deliver right to your front door. Your locally owned Yankton Pizza Ranch on Broadway, 665-1222.
It's where life tastes better. Surround them up and head her down to the Pizza Ranch. Whoa, that's good.
Do you really think it's a good idea to buy insurance off the internet? After all, it is insurance. It's not a commodity like a toaster. It's a contract to protect what you value most: your home, your car, your business, your health, and even your life. You need a professional, in-person agent to make sure you have the right coverage to fit your family's needs. Schedule an appointment with us today. Missouri River Associates, 665-6885.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. This is Bryce Ladwig, and let's start turning our attention to Yankton Gazelles soccer. I caught up with Coach Tyler Schering, I think yesterday. I think it was Thursday or Friday, and they just got back from O'Gorman. The Bucks and Gazelles did. Gazelles did lose that game, but it was pretty close overall. And let's just jump right into that interview I had with Coach Tyler Schering. He talks all about that and the trip out west that the Gazelles just came back from as well. And this is a talk with Coach Tyler Schering, Yankton Gazelles soccer. All right, let's start talking Yankton Gazelles soccer, being joined by head coach Tyler Schering here on the Coach's Corner. Coach, a very successful road trip out west last weekend. 2 victories, a 2-0 victory over Spearfish, as well as a 7-1 victory over Douglas the Friday prior to that Saturday matchup. Let's just start talking about that road trip first. Great bonding experience for the girls, I presume, as well as a couple victories. Has to feel good.
Yeah, I think the West River trip was good for the team. I thought it really kind of turned our season around a little bit. Had a couple of good, solid victories out there. We were able to move the ball well against a couple good teams out there, and we were able to see the ball hit the back of the net quite often. So that obviously is a positive for our team. Against Douglas, we were able to move the ball and really control the tempo of the game. Able to push 7 across, so that was obviously a good thing. Friday night, Saturday, we were going in against a really good Spearfish team, and we knew that was going to be a challenging game for us. came in with a solid game plan, and I thought the team really put together a really solid first 20 minutes of the game. We moved the ball exceptionally well, did a really good job with our interchanging with our players, and just moved the ball really well, did some really good pressing and counter-pressing, and just controlled that first 20 minutes better than we have the entire season, and it was fun to watch. We scored that first goal on a well-earned PK, and then, kind of managed the rest of that first half. Just played a solid first half. Second half, Spearfish, kind of got themselves back in the game a little bit, and it was a little back and forth from there. We were able to get on a nice counterattack about halfway through the second half with Ayanna Becker driving down into the goal, pulling the keeper to one side and finding Chloe Baum across frame, and, Blom put it away. So, that helped secure a 2-0 win against a solid team. And, that was a good win for our team. And, that's going to be some good power points as the season moves along.
And, Coach, can you believe you're already at the halfway point in the regular season? And, first of all, that's the first question. Next, can you give us kind of an update on sub-varsity? We haven't really talked about that this season. That's my fault. Just how is the development of the younger girls coming along as the season, as I said, is almost halfway over?
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly the season flies by. It's a short season. Once the games get going, we fit basically 14 games in about a 6-7 week span. So, once we get going, things seem to fly by. So, yeah, not a whole lot of time and training and time for adjustments once we get going. So, yeah. It's surprising that we're hitting September and, halfway through the season already. Talking about the JV, it's fun to watch, every year kind of the development and the players that are stepping up. And, we've got a number of players that, continue to impress both on the practice field and once they get into the games. Win or lose right now, they're out there fighting hard, and outside of maybe the Harrisburg game, where even in that game up until late in the game, they were holding their own. Everything's been basically a 1-goal game, win or lose. They've really been fighting. Had a good 3-1 win against Watertown just a couple weeks back, and lost a close 1-0 loss to Spearfish over the weekend, and a close 2-1 loss to O'Gorman last night. So they're really competing, playing some good soccer. And like I said, it's nice to see that some of that talent coming through, and it's going to be fun to watch them as they continue to develop over the years.
For the viewers and listeners on the Coach's Corner, last night being Thursday evening. And, Coach, speaking of Thursday evening, O'Gorman for the varsity girls now, a 3-2 loss. That's just a big opponent every year, despite what sport you're talking about. But it looks like it was a close game, and just kind of dive into that, if you would.
Yeah, O'Gorman coming in unbeaten on the season. They're a very strong team. But they also have one of the most crafty players in the state, Libby Casillo. She's, anybody who knows sports or running events as well, she's a top-class cross-country and track star as well. She controls the tempo of the game in the midfield for them. She's going to make a lot of players look silly in the midfield. She's very skilled on the ball. Really dictates the play for O'Gorman. But we went into the game, very confident coming off the Spearfish loss. Had a good week of training. And we're to the feeling right now as a team where we know that we can compete with anybody. And, had a good warm-up coming to the game, good game plan. Came off about halfway through the first half and, scored on a goal from Jocelyn Elwood, assisted by Kira Chris. Nice little chip over the keeper. And, that gave us the 1-0 lead halfway through the first half. Unfortunately, couldn't hold on to the lead at halftime, gave up a late goal in the first half. One that we're going to talk about, and we're going to make some adjustments too. But halftime, it was 1-1, kind of a back-and-forth game. Really could go either way. So we were holding our own against a very competitive team. Second half came out, we were on fire right away. About 7-8 minutes into the second half, earned a free kick. Chloe Foote put the ball into the 6-yard box, and Kara Chris got on the end of it and put it in the back of the net. Gave us a 2-1 lead. From there, I think maybe we got a little too defensive at that point. Got pushed back a little bit. O'Gorman kind of took control of the ball a little bit. But even with O'Gorman having the ball, I thought we did a good job maintaining our shape, keeping things in front, really not giving up quality shots. So still playing some good soccer and still relying on some good quality counterattack opportunities. Just weren't able to push another one across. Held on till about 14 minutes to go in the game, and O'Gorman earned a free kick, and we're able to put that away and tie it up 2-2. And unfortunately, with about 7 minutes to go, we kind of had a little defensive lapse, and they were able to make us pay for it, and they put the game winner across. And we ended up losing the game 3-2, but overall, I thought there was a lot of good things that came out of the game. And I think overall we proved as a team that we're able to compete with some of these better teams, and we're just right on that ledge where we're about ready to turn that corner and be one of them good teams that are going to show up every game.
All right, Coach, we'll end with this. A couple of ESD matchups this coming week. Brandon Valley Tuesday, Brookings Thursday, both at Creighton Youngworth Field. Very quick synopsis on both of those teams. Obviously, any ESD matchup is going to be tough, right?
Yeah, our next 2 to 3 games, we understand Brandon Valley, Brookings. We host both next week. Those are both games that we feel that we need to go get. We need to take control of the ball, put the ball in the back of the net, defend, and more better than that, we need to find a way to finish some of these games and put ourselves in a better situation to earn some power points and get a couple of W's next week. And I think the way we're playing right now, we're going to be able to do that.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much for being on the Coach's Corner here, setting up a time to record with me. We'll see you at the field on Tuesday.
Sounds great, Bryce. Thanks for having me on.
All right, that was Coach Tyler Schuring in a talk earlier this week, and Yankton Gazelles soccer currently sits with a 2-4 record in 12th in the AA standings. And, of course, as he was talking about that schedule coming up being Brandon Valley Tuesday, Brookings Thursday at Creighton Youngworth Field, and then traveling to Huron on the 12th. So, again, that was Gazelles soccer with Coach Tyler Schuring. And we are not going to have, it seems, I do reserve the right to say, oh, never mind if he is here this morning, but Coach Dave Dannery, Yankton Bucks soccer, they're off to a really nice start this season. So let's go ahead and just talk about the Bucks. Right now they're sitting second in the AA standings, a 4-2 record, and the same schedule as the Gazelles. They have Brandon Valley Tuesday, Brookings Thursday, and are at Huron on the 12th. They had their matchup versus O'Gorman, lost that one, a 1-0 loss, a very tight game there against a, I guess for all technical purposes, an undefeated O'Gorman team. So there's a lot of competition going around girls and boys soccer. It's going to be a race for the finish. I'm excited for the playoffs for soccer, to be honest. I think it's going to be a good one. We're going to take a break here on the Coach's Corner. We'll be back, and let's start talking a little bit about Yankton Gazelles tennis. I don't have Coach Ryan Haig. Couldn't connect with him this week. We'll talk to him next week, but I have some results for you, and we'll go over those when we come back.
When I'm searching for adventure, I find it on the range. Archery challenges me to be curious, see opportunity, and welcome big challenges. It teaches me to focus and never quit until the last arrow hits. Archery allows me to show my spirit at Mount Marty University. How do you show your adventurous side? Schedule your campus visit to Mount Marty University at showyourspiritmmu.com.
FNBO is the great big small bank, and for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations. and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com. Member FDIC.
And welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Bryce Ladwig here with you, 1019 Broadway Avenue. Let's start talking Yankton Gazelles tennis. I don't have an interview with Coach Haig this week. We'll get him next week. But a couple of results to go over with you. Yankton Gazelles dropped a pair of 5-4 decisions. That was Tuesday, and that was at home at the SAC courts, I believe. Yeah, and that was a home opener for the Gazelles. They lost to Brandon Valley 5-4, and then O'Gorman 5-4 as well. And then they turned their attention to yesterday. That was Friday. All right, good job, Bryce. I figured out what day of the week it was. And they went 1-1 in a triangular. That was in Mitchell. They lost to Mitchell 6-3. Nora Kraske and Sabrina Kraske won their singles matchups, and they also won their doubles match with a 10-0 victory. Yankton earned a 9-0 victory over Madison in the second match. And they're next up for the Gazelles. They travel to Sioux Falls, Roosevelt. That is on September 8th. So Yankton Gazelles at tennis just battling right now in the AA. It's exciting to see. And again, we'll catch up with Coach Ryan Haig next week for sure. I'll make sure that happens here on the Coach's Corner. Thanks to all the coaches for coming in. It is a hot studio in here right now. So it's currently the KYNT Studios. Any guesses? You start to think, is he just complaining to complain, or is it actually hot? 86 degrees. Okay, so it's 86 degrees in the studio right now. That's why I'm like literally just sweating over here. But we're going to wrap up the show after we have one last segment. It's YHS Nation. It is Braden Butler. Some segments he catches up with non-athletic activities at the Yankton High School. Sometimes just a schedule preview. We'll turn it over to Braden Butler for a segment again, the YHS Nation.
Welcome in here on YHS Nation. I am Braden Butler. It's the first YHS Nation of the new school year here on KYNT and KYNTV. Thank you for joining me. YHS Nation is a look in at the activities and events going on around Yankton High School in the coming week, as well as a more in-depth look at a specific activity in our weekly interview segment. This week's interview is with the new...
I lied. That was last week's, so I apologize. I'm just not prepared. It's the heat. I'm telling you, it's the heat. It's doing it to me. The heat is getting to me right now, okay? But all bear with me. We'll have YHS Nation for you next week, so I apologize for that. But I just want to say thanks to all the coach guests this morning, the sponsors. Thanks to you for watching or listening. I'm KYT Sports Director and the voice of Yankton Athletics, Bryce Ladwig. Go Bucks, go Gazelles, and go enjoy the rest of your weekend. This has been the Coach's Corner. Enjoy your extra long weekend from us here at KYNT and KYNTV.